Hello everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we are going to talk about creating a school web application. Is it a website? Yeah, let's say website. Because here there is no registration, but it is still responsive. So we can say web app. Let's take a look. In some previous video that I did a video on how to install or how to use HTML and CSS templates in Blazor. So the feature that you see on the screen is not actually built from scratch. It is a template that I have implemented, and that is the same template I've done a video on. Don't worry, I'll leave this template, I'll leave it under the description, so I'll leave a link over there. Click on it and try to download that template. Then you can now move on with the design or the modification that we have to do. Also, this project, it is not actually connected to database. Maybe we try to connect to database to display all the necessary information that we want to display to the user. The data that you see here, they are all hard-coded, so they are inside the application now as I speak. But if you want to get from database too, it is possible. We can also make it in that way. Maybe when you have much time, you're gonna go through that, install our EF core, our SQL server, or our SQLite, then creating a connection and get data from the database. Let's see. Now let's go to the features of this web application, this school website. Okay, so that you may start by creating the same thing. So this is the initial page, that is the starting page as soon as you log on to this website. And you can see we have this image, and that is a bouncing image, right? Yeah. So you can see we have all this, we have these buttons, and these are buttons also, but they are navigation buttons. Now if you scroll down here, you can see that is an about us, and as soon as you get to the about us, you can see we have the about us highlighted. The next one is the program. You can decide to click on program to navigate us to the program, or you can decide to go to the program. You can see get highlighted. So where you are now, 8 buttons get highlighted. It is just a simple web application or simple website for school that is very easy to create or to implement. Since the template has been created already, just have to modify it and install it into this Blazor, and we move on. So we have administration here. Now these are the administrators here for this template one, so I need not to change an image because this is just so design was a template. So if you want to use it, then you have to change these images yourself, and you pass in the right images. We have contact. Now this contact here is a component, and as you can see from here, there is a component and is a contact component. As soon as you click on that, you have the contact us page, and you have the location beside, and we have this form. Okay, so if you want to create a database, here going to be an edit form whereby you provide all this as a model. Then after click on this button, we create, and that is a web service to handle that. Okay. Also, that is for the contact us. When you go to the bottom, you can see we have that is a footer, and that is the data that we have here. Also, you can go to the facts, that's the frequent asked questions. So you see we have them over here, and we use them as what? That is a accordion. So that is, you can decide to add multiple questions and explanation to it. Okay. So when you create a database to this, you're going to create the questions, you're going to look through the questions, and I'll set each question and each explanation. Very simple. Also, you can see we have contact administration. If I click on this, it's going to navigate me to the contact page. Very simple. Also, you can see we have an apply now. So if I click on apply now, what happens? If I click on this, it does navigate me to a page whereby I can decide to fill my information. Okay, So we have this simple, this is a dummy form, and that is the data that I want to accept. We can now decide to add more to this. So you can decide to add it, build the form that you want to submit document. So we see this is very simple. This is just a simple website or web application for a student to apply to the school. Apply for admission. Here you see there's no login. So no login here, only an apply form needed. I need to provide that. And also fast questions, are the questions and answers, you need to provide them. Maybe about us, our programs, administrations, and other relevant information. You can get them or put them in the database so that as soon as you load the application, it gets loaded from database and be displayed instead of hard coding it inside this application. Let's go through this template and see how to work on this, and let's see if you can actually install EF Core to get connected to the database, or let's see if you have time to do that as well. Okay, so what I have to do here is first I have to create a template that is a Blazor server application. Okay, so you create the Blazor server application. Here, this one I want to do, I have done it already, so I think it would be good if I decide to go through it with you one after the other. So create a Blazor server application, click on file, then you can see we have new, then new project, then you go for Blazor server application, click on next, then you can now give it a name, then you choose the framework. So I'm using .NET 7.0, although I have 8 preview, but I want to use 7.0 to do this. Click on create to get it created. Okay, so when you're done creating, that is the first step. Well done. The next step that we need to go through is to get the template. So how do we get a template? Let's see. Now this template was downloaded from bootstrapmade.com, and when you go there, you see we have a lot of templates over there. Some are free, others you need to buy, but they're just a free template. So I just grab a free template, and let's see. Let me try to open up the source code of that template so we know how to do it, how to go about this. Alright, so I believe this is the template here. Now you can see we have an Asha template and it's a Bootstrap template. So when you open this index, we see there is a template. So if I open this index, you see it's coming from my desktop, and now the name, that's a starter, and that's an Asha template. So you can see we have this beautiful template created with Bootstrap. And if you want to create it start from scratch, you can decide to create your own. But if you're good at using SAS and CSS to design a nice template, then you can do that. Okay, but for those of us who are not actually good enough in designing template like this, what we can do is to grab a free one, or grab a template, any template at all, depending on the kind of project you want to do. Then we can now decide to use some features in that template and add it to ours, and now we make it our own. So let's see what we can do here. Now you can see we have the header. So what we need here is we need the header here, and as you can see we have the header. Okay, so once you have the header, we're going to maintain the header, we're going to maintain this about us, and we're going to maintain this services. We're going to change it to program. We're going to clear this portfolio because we don't need it. We can just change this thing to administration. Then we can take off this drop down because we don't need any drop down for now. Contact page. So instead of this contact page, we're going to cut this, create a new component, that's a Blazor component known as a contact, and now save this page inside that contact page. Okay, so that the application won't be too long when scrolling down or scrolling up. It's supposed to be short ones. Click on the button to open this. Not long. We are not going to make it long. So as you can see, we have get started, and we have the facts. That's the frequently asked questions, and that is also there. So I decide to move that fax to that page, and that is this frequently asked questions. So we say this is an accordion, so just click the question on top and the definition or the explanation beneath. So we're going to move this frequently asked question, the fact, and we're going to move this contact into a new separate component. The rest, we're going to maintain that while we decide to take off this pricing and take off this portfolio also, and maintain the rest. Because if we compare what I have done, you can see it's exactly the same. Now you can see with this, we have the text change. We have an apply now button over here, apply now. We have an image with the same feature, bouncing feature. Apply now, the same button. You can see we have a fax. Here, the fax were not written or inserted or used as an icon or a header or a tab. But as you can see from here, I've made as a tab. We have contact page also as a tab. I click on that, it opens a new component known as contact. I click on fax, it opens a new component as fax. Okay, but the rest is just a swap. So we're making a reference out of it. That's what you see. We have a hash or the pound key. So you can see we have the same thing for the programs and about us and about and home as well. Okay, so let's dive into this and see what we can do. So go to bootstrapmail.com and there's a template called Asha. You can just grab that, or you can just go to check the description. I'm gonna zip this template, okay, and I'll put it over there, and I'll leave a description, a link over there, another description. So check it. I click on it and I download the zip file, extract it. There you go. You have the template. Let's see how to implement the template in this Visual Studio. So now we have created our Blazor component. What we can do next here is to copy all these files. So as you can see from here, we want to grab this asset, okay, and this forms. You can even remove all this. So let's grab all this asset. Now if I open this asset, it contains CSS, image, JavaScript, and there's the SAS, the CSS. Okay, so and you have this vendor. It also contains a lot of folders here with the Bootstrap. So what we will need to do here is to grab the source here, that is an asset. Now if you want to change the Bootstrap, you can decide to install a current Bootstrap, that's a 5.3 or so. You can install that in the CSS where you have a Bootstrap folder. So you make sure you install it over there so you won't have any error in it. That's the vendor, and you have Bootstrap. So if you want to install a current Bootstrap file, you have to install it over here. Okay, so now let's just grab this asset and now come to your static files, that is the www folder, and I'll paste it here. So you can see I have pasted mine and I have an asset. That's great. Also I added the forms, so I have forms here. Now it has a default CSS, and that is what you see. That is the site.css you maintain is as it is. The next one that you want to talk about here is once you have pasted this, we have to also copy and paste the index, because that is what we need to do. So with the index, we need to copy that from here, but I know that there is an index.html. And now in Razor 2, we don't say index.html over here, it is rather .razor. So we have to open this text editor, open this index with a text editor. So open with Sublime. Then we're going to do some few changes here, then we save or we copy that. We first have to create a component and name it any that you want. So for mine, I name mine as what? That's the home. So that is a home component. Create that component. Right click on pages and now click on add the new Razor component. So add and going for Razor component. Name it any name that you want. Now check back and see if the file has been opened. So this is header. Header, header should supposed to be on top of the component. Header must be in the host.razor component. So let's keep that. Now I want to grab from this header, that is the body. So let's grab all the content in the body. Now after grabbing, make sure you paste it at the home. Paste it here, and that's exactly what we have. So we start from this header, then we set a navigation. That is we want this to be the route. So if we have the route which leads to a home page, then you have to change it to this, because this is the home page, a route navigating us to the home page. That's why we didn't specify any name at all over here. It is blank. Okay. Now when you have this, you have to make some changes depending on how you want yours to be done. Now you see, I want to take this one off. So I want to take this off. I want to also take this off. So you do that. Now when you go to the template, it has been grouped into sections. Now check the section and add a name that you dislike. You can just clear that from the section. So you can see you have there is a body over here. So with the body, you can see you have a nav button on top. Then the next one I'm going to talk about here, because we have the main, and now the main, we have these images. Okay, so these images, depending on how you want yours to be done, you can just clear this image off. You can remove this image off, and now once you take off all the images, that's the client section. Because if you check mine here, you can see that I have this section that is the ID as hero, then that is the first section, and the same section over here, that is the home page. I have the session title, and that's going to be the about us. So this is an about us session. Now, as I said earlier on, you can see these tests, they are all hard coded. So you can see we have the test over here. So the next one that we're going to do here, when you install the NG framework and try to connect to database, all this data that you see here is going to come from database. So you're going to make our work very clean or cleaner. Now, this is an end for our session. Then we have our services. So you can see from here too, we have programs offered, and these are the programs. So we have the first one, the second one, the third, and the fourth. As you can see from here, these are all the programs that the school offers. Okay, so these are also hard coded because see, we are not looking from database, but let's see, we're going to do that soon. Then we have the citation. So here I raise an affiliate. Now when you check here, you can see we have this affiliate. It depends on how you want it to be done. You can add a lot of things over here, but for me, I want to add this. I also have an apply button beneath. So the university that our school is affiliated to, you can see it over here. Then the administration comes in. That is where you have the images and etc. Then you have a journal newsletter, and we have our footer. So you can see this is a very simple thing. Yeah. Now let's see how we can put them into database. You can grab this from database and then display. Instead of typing it inside the application, you want to grab it from database. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Yeah, so let's see. I'm going to pause for now, and the same video I'll be right back here. I want to take some small water. When I come, we're going to talk about installing our packages and try to write our models to get it up from the database, display it to this component, and make the code much more cleaner. Okay, because you can see from here we have a lot. So instead of looping through, you're not looping through. You are listing the object over here, that's the universities, one after the other. But this could have been for each loop. We loop it at once, we get out the 3 schools. Even when you add more to the database, you need not to add any list again, you're going to do that automatically. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do after this break. Alright guys, so before we install our EF core to have a database connection, let's first create our contact page and the facts page under the frequently questions asked. Let's create that component. So I have a service, there's an administration over here. We have this as an affiliate, and that is the CTA. Okay, so that's the name that I've changed. Now there is the team that I have changed. I've set this ID to administration, and also these are the various programs. That's the services. So that is the programs. So as the description here tells us, you see there's services, there's a CTA, that is a team over here, and there's an about us. So in our page, that is the home page, these are the sections that we have. 4 sections, I think, no, 5 sections here. But you see that we are not having a header and a footer. Okay, they are separate components. So we can create that. Now, in order to create that, we have to add a new component, and that's going to be a contact page. So contact.razor. And as you can see that I just copied or moved the contact from that section and pasted it over here. So all this is coming from the contact. You just have to paste it over there, and that you're good to go. And also we set the route here as contact. The next one is the fact. So that's the frequently asked questions. Frequency questions answered over here. That's the fact. There's also the frequently asked questions section. You see the route / fact, and we have it over there. Now you see that from here we have an ID. Each section has an ID, especially when you check the home. Each has an ID. So this means that when I click on the ID, when I click on a link referred to this ID, it's going to open this ID automatically. And that's exactly what you see here. You see, as soon as I click on home, see about us, it's going to refer to this about us because this is a session and it has an ID known as about us. Programs has an ID about program. Administration has an ID of what administration. Now contact us here, it is a component, and facts here it is a component. So we have 3 components in all, but these are internal references. I hope it's clear now. And when you check the apply now, it is also a component. So contact add is a component, facts is a component, apply now is a component. So 3 components. Administration, programs, about us, and home, they are all references. So the index is 1 component, contact as a component, second, facts, third, and apply now, making 4 components that we have in this application. So if you check it, you see we have the apply now, contact, facts, and home. Error, CSS, HTML, and the hosts here, they are not part because these are the default ones created by the Blazor app. Okay, so we have this here. Now let's do the same thing to the facts. So I'm going to grab that and also paste it over here and set the route. Now we are done. We need to create a header. So let's create a component. And now I'm going to be another shared project. So we have header components. That's a component here. We have a header component and a footer component. So all that we need to do here is to grab the header and the footer, put the header in the header component. The header starts from here up to this area, and then the footer also starts from the last end. So the footer starts from here up to this area. Because you can see that if I navigate to contact us, I still have the footer here. So that's the footer. I go to facts, I still have the footer over here. And if I go to apply now, I still maintain the footer here. So you have to grab that in the component. Okay, so the header, this is the header, so I have to just grab the header component, and that is what you see here. So header, that is the component. So here you can decide to clear off this because we don't need this for now. So we are not using any navigation, so you can also grab this. Okay, so this is just the component that we have created, because there's going to be a chart component which is going to be used in the parent component. So we need not to specify the route. No, it has to be rendered inside an index or component. So as you can see, simple, this is what our header is. Now you can see that from all that we have here, components are being listed. So with this, we use the hard-coded one to set the reference and the contact and the fact. But we can also use database to do that. Let's say maybe we talk about that too as well. So you see each has a nav link. They are all in what? That's a UL, another list, and they have a reference here. So as you can see, each of this is referencing 8 section. There's an about section because it's referencing the section with its 8 ID. So the ID of an about here, we use a pound key attached to and put it in the reference tab or reference attribute. If I click on it, it's going straight to this, and that's what I've done up to the fact, the last one. Now you can see from the apply now, it is going for a component that's apply, fast going for a component known as fast, contact going for a component known as contact. The rest, they are internal references. Good. Now we have this, we can also go to the footer. We create a footer component, and let me also close this. So this is the footer component. We have newsletter, that's the first one here. Then we have our footer section. Now you can see all these are coming from the, so edit, all these are coming from, these are hard coded, because you know when you talk about administration or contact us, we don't normally change contact page, so we can leave it as it is, or we can decide to get it from the database. You can decide, choose your choice. I'm going to show you how to get connected to the database and attach it to this. Okay, maybe you can use SQLite, simple application, simple website, use an SQLite database for. Then you can now do it yourself. Okay, so our programs, as you can see from this section, you have useful links, our programs, social networks, and that's your school location and the phone number and email. And that is exactly what we have here. So end footer, designed by Netcode, this over here. Actually, it should have been designed by Bootstrap, but implemented by Netcode. That's what it should have been, yeah. Because this, yes, not built from scratch, just modification, yeah. Alright, so I have this, I have the 2 templates now set. Let me clear this navigation. So these 2 templates are ready. Now what I need to do here is reference them. So keep on editing. Now go to Solution Explorer. Now in the main layout, this is what we need to do. We have to clear everything. Now this is the Blazor app one, so we're going to say this is school app. So this is School app. Now in here we have our div, that's the page. We have a main, that's an ID as main. Then so you have a header component on top because you want to lay them in the hierarchy. The header component must be on top, the body must be in the middle, and the footer must be below or beneath. That's exactly what we are doing here. So you see, this is very simple. Now when we run this, let's see what's going to happen next. So it is building. Let's run it ourselves over here, and let's see what we're going to have. So this is our page. That's it. So we say with a few minutes you've been able to design your own website and you're done using Blazor. That's beautiful. Okay, so now we have this. There's one thing left that I haven't informed you, and you know that thing, that is our references. Now we say when you check this page, the source code here, It contains script references. It also contains JS references. That's the script, JavaScript references over here. So all these references, where are you going to put them? Don't worry. Just grab them, and I'll go to the host HTML, paste the reference over here. As you can see, that's the reference being pasted. Okay, that's the vendor CSS. Now go to down here and now paste the scripts over there. You're good to go. Very simple. Okay, so when you run it, you're going to have this before web, as you can see. So home, then you are back to your app is ready, to be hosted. But don't forget that there's no database attached to you, right? So let's try to connect to the database and see. So we have to install some packages. We want to use SQLite, or should we use SQL Server? It's a small web app, so let's use SQL. Let's use SQLite, So let's see what we can do from this section. We have to install our components over here. So let's go to Solution Explorer. We need to add a web service, because since you need this, you have to add a web service. So let's click on Solution Explorer, right click, and now let's go to add the new project. Now this project, you want to use web API, so select web API, click on next. If you can't find web API, search over here, so click on web API, and there you go, you have it. Web API, that is an F#. You want to use, you can start the language as only C#. You have web API, click on next. Then this is, let's say, so screw up .api. Okay, so there's the API. I can make an API, very simple. Screw up the API and click on add. Now let's use this framework 7.0. Click on create. Let's get it created. After that, we need to add a model. That's a library which is going to hold data from the database and to the project, that's the app, to the client, and also vice versa to the database. So let's also add one library. You can minimize this, minimize that. Let's add. So let's add a new project, and then there's a library, so class library. If you want to get that, click on this and now choose in what library. C# selected, and you can see you have a class library over here. This is what we are going for. Okay, so we're going for this class library because there is a created class library targeted for .NET Standard. Now there's also one here, but I know this is for Windows only. C# for Windows. This Android, Linux, Mac OS, Windows, and etc. So let's use this class library. Click on next, and we say that school app.logic. Let's click on next. So click on next. 7.0, get it created. So we wait for that to also get created. Okay. So now we have 3 components or 3 projects added. Let's delete the default one. That is the class. Also, there's a default section or default project added to the API. Let's see if we can clear that. That's the weather forecast. So let's delete that. Let's go to program, app settings. Nothing is there. Then we have to navigate to, okay, so program, And do you have weather forecast here? Okay, so it is not. You go to controller, weather forecast. Let's delete that controller. Yeah, and that is it. So let's try to build this application together. Before that, let's make a reference. So we need to reference this logic to the API and the same logic to the Blazor app. Okay, so let's first do the Blazor app. We need to go to dependencies to open it. Dependencies, that's over here. You can see, so right click, now click on add project reference, and now select the logic, click on OK. So logic has been added to that project. Let's close that. Let's go to the API, the same dependencies. Let's right click, add project reference, the same logic. So this logic here contains a library which is going to be shared by both the client over here, that's the Blazor app, and the API. So that is also done. Now let's clean our project. So right click on the solution and click on clean solution. Alright, so 3 succeeded. Let's now build this. Before we build, let's set up the startup project. So click on Solution Explorer, right click, and I'll go to set. Where is it? Startup. So configure startup project. The first one to start up the API. So click on multiple startup project. API must be on top first, and that's the first one. So start without debugging. Then the next one is the app. So start without debugging too. Want to make it fast. Click on apply. Okay. Now let's build the project and see. So right click and now click on build solution. Alright, so you could see succeeded, build successful. Now let's go to the API here. Let's add some packages. So API, go to dependencies, right click and go to manage NuGet packages. You want to add 3 packages. That is what we're going to use for database connectivity. So let's right click on manage packages and I'll come to NuGet packages, click on the browse tab. And now here we need to install Entity Framework. So Entity Framework, let's install this. Let's search and see if we can have Entity Framework, and that is from Microsoft. So do you have Entity Framework for Microsoft Entity Framework? Okay, let's see the data protection. Let's include pre-releases. Alright, so that's the Microsoft Entity Framework call. Now let's use, we don't want to use the 8.0, let's use the 7.0.5. So let's use this. Click on install. So you can see that it is installing to the API. Click on OK. Accept it. You don't have time to read. Now then, we need to install SQLite. So let's install SQLite. Microsoft Entity Framework called SQLite. You want to use the same version 7.0.5. Install 2. So accept it. Yeah. Now you need to install the last one, that is tools. So let's install tools. That is this. Click on this. No, you want to just, okay, after install you have to click on cancel. Then let's use the latest 7.0.5. Since we're using the Entity Framework core, that's the Entity Framework core of 7.0, it's advisable we use it. So Do we have any error in building an application? So let's use the 7.0.5. That's the entry framework core. That's 7. Okay, so now this is done. I think we are good to go. Let's wait and see. So executing script file. Yeah, let's have patience as we wait for the output to be done. Successfully installed. Yeah, output finished. So what we have to do here is now we have installed our packages. If you want to verify and see if actually you have installed them, go to the dependencies in the API project and open the dependencies, and there's a file called folder called packages. Open that, and there you go. You have all your packages installed. EF Core Lite tools. Yeah. Okay, so let's start a database connection. Let's create, since you're using SQLite, let's start that. Okay. Now, the reason why we're using SQLite is SQLite is a lightweight and for some applications such as a school website or web app, as you can see from here, which can also handle a lot of data. But you know, one thing that you want to do here is you have to install a file. It's an application called DB browser for SQLite. Let's say I have installed it already. DB browser for SQLite. Do I have it? Let me check up and see if I have this installed. Yeah, so DB browser for SQLite. So for this application, you have to install it. You go to the internet, Google, and type in DB browser for SQLite. It is free. Download it, and that's what we're going to use to access our DB Lite or the SQLite file. Because you know, with the SQLite, when you create the database, it's attached to your application. So when you host it, you don't need an external data from the database. Rather, you have a database included to your application. Just that's going to increase the size of your source file. Okay, but let's maintain that this is a small web app that you want to create. So SQLite is suitable for. You can decide to use an SQL server, but you know the steps are the same, just that with the SQL server you have to set the connection strength different from how you set it in the SQLite. That is the only change that you have to make. Aside from that, the rest they are the same. Maybe I'll get you to that. So maybe if you decide to use an SQLite, you can just use that. If you decide to use an SQL server, you can just use that. That is the only change that you have to make. The rest, they're the same. I hope it's clear. Yeah, so click on OK, and now you're good to go. So currently, I have no database created. That's what you see is this. But as soon as you open the database, you're going to see something different from this. Don't worry. Let's keep going. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Now we have to go there and create our models. But before we create our models, we have to see models have been created in the logic folder or the logic project. So right click, let's add the folder. So add new folder. Here, let's make that models, because you know models are connected to the API, and that's what we use to create database table. So when you create models, you need not to touch the models. That's why you have to have models. You also have data models or view models. That is data that is being gotten or used to transfer data from the application database to the client section. So this is going to be our model first. Before that, let's check what you want to do. Now there's an app that you want to create. So can we create an update? Is it an update? Yeah, so let's make it as an update number 1 or update number 2 or our website. So you can keep changing things in it, right? Or there is home. Whatever that you want to build at home, you can do that. If you want to build about us too, you can do it. If you want to build programs, you can do it, right? So maybe how you want us to do it. Let's create programs. You create administration. You can create separate for each. Okay, so we have home. As for the home, you know, nothing here much. So we have an about us. We're going to create about us here. Now this home, you can decide to change this. well, about us, you can just change this about us. This is about us. This is programs. So program that we offer, we can just change this program here and change the various programs indicated here. Administration, you can change the images and the persons as well. And contact you, we can grab this contact. Let's see, our app is down, so we have to actually run this. So let's run this app and see first. But first, let's first work on the contact, because that's what you want to focus much on. So when I send data, what should go, where should go, and where it's supposed to get it stored. That is what we need to do first. Then the rest we can configure them later when we have time. Okay. I'm trying my best not to spend 1.5 hours with this simple project. So let's see if we can do it fast. So let me close the template one since we are done with it. Now we have our Codem app, we have our Swagger UI, and that is an API. So again, API, nothing over here but RPM. So let's do for the contact and the fact. Okay, so contact here, you need a name, email, subject, message. Name, email, subject, and message. And we have to create for our fact too. That's a question and what? Explanation. Yeah. So contact, let's create a model. So right click on this model, add and now class. And now this class, you're going to name it as contact. So contact. So this class, you're going to have name. Let's check it again. So this is going to be a public. We can clear all this since we don't need them. Now in this class, we check again here, it is name, email, subject, and message. So we're going to have prop. There's going to be, so let's have an ID first, an ID, then you're going to have name. So your name, so here must be a string, and there is name, and we can have another one. So there's going to be string, and that is email, name, email, subject, and message. So we have the next one, we have string, and that is subject. We have string, message, and maybe we can add one more, that is daytime. So daytime, and that is date created. Okay, so let's set this is equal to daytime dot now. So we won't expect the user to type in the day that I'm sending the message. No. What if you type in the next 10 years or the past 3 years or 5 years? No, we don't do that. So we set it internally. The current date and time on the server that we are using, we set it to the date and the time that the person has now created the message. Okay, now we have this. So let's see. Let's go and create our connection. Let's go to our API. Now in API, let's create a folder in it and let's name it as data. The reason why we are creating this folder is you could have added it here, but you want to organize work in a clean architecture. So put everything in a folder, making it simple. Now data, let's add a class, and that's going to be app.db context. You know, this is what we're going to use for our connection, a database connection. That's why you call it an app.db context. You can give it any name that you want. This is going to inherit from DB context class. Now this gotten or coming from Entity Framework Core. because we have installed that, you could see we have to install or use this entity framework call. So this contains an inbuilt classes and property that are going to be used for database connection and creating. Okay, so here let's create a constructor here and inject. So create a constructor and pass in this option. Now this option, we have to pass in this class that we have created to alert or notify it about the database connection that we have created. So we do that by passing in the DB context option, right? Context option, yeah. Oh, sorry, let's wait for this command to finish. Just simple copy. Now let's paste this here. And now this inheriting from a base class. Okay, so this is a base class, okay, and that's the option. So this is a base. The base is referring to this DB context class and passing in what? This option. Okay, very simple. So we have a constructor created. The next one that we need to do here is to specify. So DB, let's DB set, pass in the contact, and now you can set this as contact. So that is contact. That if the user sends something, that's where you're going to go, contact. You can save that. Now what you have to do again, let's go to the app settings.json file here, and let's set our connection. So in here, you have to do the have it over here, so I have to just go in there and copy this. So as you can see, so I said that I'm going to teach you, if you're using SQL Server, what you're going to do. Now you see this for the SQLite. So this is codem.SQLite. This is SQLite. Okay, codem SQLite DB. This is for SQLite. Yeah. What if you're using SQL Server instead? Yours is here. Yeah, this is a long one, so I just grab this. So here, this is yours. Let me comment this before I have any error here. Just take off this. You can't use two of these, okay? You must use one. This for SQLite, those in SQLite, and this for the SQL Server, those in SQL Server. So specify the database name. The server is local or dot. Very simple. So now let's save this, and we have to create our database connection. You have to register our service in the program.ts. So click on the program.ts file. You know we are still working in the API, and I think I have it here, so I need not to worry myself a lot. I just have to go there and grab this. So come here, minutes here, and let's paste it. So this our personal setup. Okay, personal setup / codem high school. Okay, so I'll paste this here, and that's database connection. So this database connection, we are calling the class that we created AppDB contest, and here using SQL Server. So if you're using SQL Server, that's what you're going to do. But if you're using SQLite, no. So I'm going to use SQLite. Let's see, do you have, yeah, use SQLite. Use SQLite, and that is this. So you know the server and the light, when using the SQL Server and using the SQLite, they're actually the same. Just that here, instead of using the SQL Server, use SQLite, or instead of using SQLite, use what? SQL Server. So this is our connection. Okay. Now what you have to do again here is we have to register code. Now the reason why you have to do that here is, you know, we are having two projects, separate projects. To link them together, let's use core. So let's link the projects together. And this project, that is let's say the client section. I hope you understand that, and the API. Okay, you know the client is going to make a request from the API, and it has to know the route, the address. That's why you have to use this app.use. We didn't copy this well. I think let's do the right thing. So I'm going to go in there again, and it has to copy from this and end here. So you see we have app.use course. We pass in the policy, we specify policy with origin, and now here we are specifying that is the route of the client. But if you check here, you know we are getting this from what? The server. So this here is going to be the client section. Now let's go to application. This is the client and the port is 7289, so you can copy this. There's 7289, grab this, and now 7289, paste this, and now paste this. So one is secured, one is not secured. One must be HTTP and one is HTTPS. You make sure you do not put any slash, so do not add / at the end. Don't do that. So this is how we need to do. Allow any method and with headers, header name.content type. Now this header name, as soon as you add, you must add system.header. So this. Okay. If you decide to take off this, you're going to have error in this header names. Let's try that and see. So you don't forget to add that. And if you add, you can see we have an error here. So you must add this. Okay. Continue the editing. Alright, so once you have this, the next thing that you have to do here is let's go to the other one too. That is the client, and also add the same thing. So here we're going to pass in this URI instead of this. So new URI. I'm going to grab this new URL here. Grab that. Let's go to the client section, and that's going to be the Solution Explorer. Go to Blazor App 1. Go to program.cs file. And now in here, we're actually not having this, so you can just clear this singleton weather forecast service because it is no more in existence. You can also clear this. You're not using it for now. And let's see. So here, let's grab the whole thing. So let's register the service here by adding the route of the. So this is also the same. So Codem High School. There's config that we are configuring. So better the services.ask we use an HTTP client, then we pass in the route. But here you need to add /. So let's see. So don't forget to add /. Is it at the end, right? Yeah, at the end. Don't forget. Okay, so let's go in for the address itself from the Swagger 7040. So grab this, come here, 7040, and paste it. Add the /. So with the API knows / when referencing the client. When we come to a client referencing the API, add /. Okay. Now save this. Okay, continue on editing. Now the next thing that we have to do here is let's go back to the API because that's what we are working in. We have to perform database migration. Okay, so to do that, click on Tools and click on we get Package Manager and Package Manager Console. We wait for the partial to initialize. Then we're going to create our migration. So let's select the API that is the startup we want to use for. So CLS, let's clear all the screen. Then we say add migration. We can actually use this add migration because of the tools that we installed. So add migration. Then let's give it a name as initials. So let's say, so this is create contact table. Okay, so this is one. The first one is create contact table. Then let's set output. So we've created a folder called data. Open it, and I'll create another folder called migrations, and I'll paste all the migrations file in it. Click on add, right? But let's copy this first. Let's build this application first once more before we run that. So build solution to check if you have any issue. If not, then we go ahead and now perform our migration. So let's wait and see the output. If we're going to have succeeded, all the three are going to be successful, then we can now go ahead. Yep, is it? So bingo. Let's move on. So let's wait and see. So it's going to use the API as a startup project automatically. We succeeded. Let's wait while it is doing the magic, creating all the database tables in the SQLite table that we have specified. So it is done. Now a file has been generated, and that's the name 1. So create contact table. Okay. What you have to do, let's update database. Before we update, let's build it once more to make things fast. Okay, succeeded. Let's now update it. So it's going to run the necessary queries here to create a database table for us. And as soon as it is done, a file is going to be created. Now it is done now, so we can now close this. Now a file has been created and attached to our project, that's the SQLite. As you can see, the name that we specified, so API project. You see we have a file called codem SQLite.db. So this is a database, right? But you know we can't open database here, this SQLite database here. You can't preview it over here because when you open it, you won't actually see what is involved. So that's why you need to use the codem. That's why you need to use the DB browser for SQLite. So once I have this, click on open database, and now let's navigate to this computer. So I'm going to this computer, local disk C, and I'm going for this project. So as you can see from here, I have this Blazor server app API, and that's the codem SQLite. Click on open, and you got it open. So you see we have a contact table. We have only one table here, and that's the contact table. So when you go to browse data, you will see this table contains what? ID, name, email, subject, message, and date created. That's all. Now nothing is here. Let's close this. So you see we can expand this to see all the message they're going to provide. These are message. These are subject. These are person's email. That is the name, right? And that is an ID here. Okay. Now we have this. What else can we do? Let's see. So our database has been created, and now let's go in there and create our data models. So in the, let's close the API. Now in the logic, let's create a folder, add folder, and that's going to be, let's create view models. So view models, let's create contact view models. So class, and now there's going to be contact view model. So this we're going to use to transfer data from the database to the user and from the user to database. Yeah. So let's go in there. We can grab what we have in here because we don't need ID here, right? We need ID. Yeah, we're going to need the ID because for app we don't need ID because since we're going to update this, we don't need this ID. So let's copy this. Let's copy this and paste it here. Let's make this public. clear this off. Okay, then this is what you want to do. Let's set this on top as required. So this is required. You can copy this also. This as required too. This required. So email, daytime, it is there already, so you need to set required. Now the person can decide to, let's make this optional. Okay, but it's supposed to be email. You can decide to pass in your email. You can decide not to do that. Let's make this as optional. Okay, and subject to, let's make subject as an optional, right? But you must add subject, isn't it? Yeah, you must add subject. You must add your name. You must add your subject. Okay, let's save this. Now you're going to use this. So let's go to the API. This is the API here. So with the API we have created, you can go to the controller straight and implement it over there. Okay, so you don't have time to create this service to render. Let's create it in the controller, and we are good to go. So maybe this is what we can do. Controller, right click on the controller, click on add, and add a new controller. And this is contact controller. So click on API, empty one, click on add. Let's name it from the name conventions. You're going to maintain the controller, and this is going to be contact. So CC contact controller. Okay, so we have this over here. Now with this, let's create a constructor. So generate constructor here. Let's implement the appdb context here. So appdb context. We could have created a services to render, but you know we don't want to. This is very small, so I think you can do it straight ahead from here. But if you have a large data that you need to process, that's where you need to create a service and render that. But for now, let's maintain this. Control period. Let's create an assigned field, now property. So now it is now ready, and that's what we need to do. So let's create a public, and that's going to be an async task. It's coming from action result. Okay, now there's an action result here. Okay, so this action results, let's have a status or service response. I think so. Okay, so let's have a service response. So this is add comment. Then we can now use, let's use comment, that's the contact view model. So let's use the contact view model, and that's going to be model. So let's create this service response. Let's go to this. Okay, let's create a folder here and name it as response. And this response, let's create a class, a service response. Now this service response, let's make it as public. And with this, you can decide to have a string message. Okay, then You can have bool. Then let's say you can have success. So default sunset is set to true. Yeah, so default sunset is set to true. Now let's keep on editing. So let's go to your contact controller and our service response control period. Let's use logic.response. Add comment has been set here. So here you're going to return what? A service response. So let's check first. So if model is not equal to now, that is where you want to perform this. Else return, let's use bad request because you can't decide to set this. And let's pass in here. Or can you return, let's return bad request, new service response. New service response. Then let's set success is equal to false. Then message success equal to false. Then message is equal to error occurred. Very simple. Okay, so you are returning this. Now, what of in case model is not equal to empty? Then can we check if the same comment has been commented already, or we can keep on the same comment? Well, for now, let's keep on the same comment. Rather want to check, but if I comment good and the next person comes and comment good, if you want to check it and see, then well, I'm not sure that's going to help. Okay, so let's see. Got that is a contact us. So this is a message. So a message can be asked multiple times. Don't worry, you still got it. So if model is not equal to now, if not equal to empty, then this is what you want to do. So appdb context dot contact dot, let's add this. Let's add this model. Then let's call an await keyword. So await appdb context dot save changes. Let's call the async because it has to wait for everything to be saved. Then we need to return this. Let's return this. So return, can I return, let's return status code 200, and that's going to be okay. So let's return okay. Then success here, success is 2 already, so we won't override it. We set message as message sent. Now the reason why we have this here, it can't convert, so let's see what can we do. So can we say model is equal to model, let's see if we can we cast this. Can we cast this into contacts? Is it possible? Control period. Whoa, it's not possible. Then we have to create this. So let's see what we can do from here. We need not to. You have to create a view model that's a data conversion to convert this. I think so that's what we need to do here. But let's see what we can do from this angle. So if you can cast this to model, I'm trying this to see if I can cast this to model. But if this still not working, then you have no option than to call this. So let's do this. Let's create the same logic. Let's create another folder, and now let's save it as conversions. Okay, conversions. So this conversions folder that we have now, let's create a class. Now this class is going to be model. This is view model to model. Okay, this is view model to model. So converting view models to model. Let's make this as public. So this is going to be a public task. It is going to return model. It's going to return contact, but it is passing in. Let's create convert, and I was passing in with what? Contact view model as this contact view model. I hope you are following. Now we are converting. We're going to return contacts here as a task. Okay, and here we pass in this. So we create a var new var model is equal to new contact. Then let's open this. We don't need ID for now, so you're going to say name is equal to contact dot name. Actually, we can decide to see, we can make it CVM, right? Let's make all this very simple. CVM, yeah. So equal to CVM dot name. Then email is equal to CVM dot email. Then subject is equal to CVM dot subject, and message is equal to CVM dot message. I think there are 4, right? 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you have date created already. So date created, you need have to sign it. It's a default. So this is what we need to do at the conversion or the convert. So where is it? So view model to model, yeah. Then you can close this here and now return model. Okay, so let's grab this view model. Now let's return this model. Is a new contact here, so return this. We have to use an async keyword to return this. Okay, so here too we have this because we didn't use any async here, any await key here. So can we have in such a way well, let's maintain this async, okay, because we want to wait to get this. So convert, return this model. Okay, so let's call this view model to model. So let's make dot convert contact CVM contact view model to contact, right? Can we see this? Or we can make it at convert contact view model to contact model. Very long, yeah, but it makes sense. So let's grab this. Let's go to edit the controller, and now here we're going to say that m, okay, that's the model, is equal to, we call this method, it is expecting this, so let's pass in this model. Now let's inject control period. Okay, so this here, let's make it as m. So we say var m is going to hold that. Then we pass in the m here. I think it is solved now. So let's see, this is going to return model, that's the contact model. I need to pass in contact.m, the add model. I think so. So we cannot convert view models to contact.models. Models are contact. Let's see, let's try that again and see what we have to do here. So alright, so await. Can we have an await key here? So does not contain a get awaiter. So var contact view model, we pass in this model over here. Then the output coming in here, that's an m, supposed to be a view model. So let's see. Task is going to return contacts, right? So new contact. It is accepting a contact view model, and returning this model. So let's convert this to, we're going to say var m is equal to new contact, and let's open this. We say name is equal to model dot name. Then we say email is equal to model dot email. Subject is equal to model dot subject. Then message is equal to model dot message. When done, let's pass in this m, and I think that'll be all. After that, we return this. Okay, message sent. Yeah. So now we have this. What do you have to do again is you have to create, let's check. So let's call this method. Now from this, let's clear this. Okay, so we have this method. Alright, so this simple one, we are done with that. We save this, and now let's build our project and see. So build solution. So now it is built successfully. Let's go to Solution Explorer. Let's go to the school app, and now where we have our page, so this is the Blazor app, that's the school app, contact page, and that's going to make the call here. So on top here, let's inject HTTP client, okay, so we inject that. Then down here, this is what you want to do. So at code, we open it over here. Then let's use override. When page loads, we don't want to do anything here, so let's see, because we understand we want to wait. So we create contacts view model. So contact view model, Then we say model equal to new. Let's use this new keyword. For contact, let's pass in T, control plus the period. Let's inject this view model. So let's set this as an edit form and pass in that model. So instead of this form, you want to use edit form. Now in this edit form, you can clear all of these because you don't need them, and you can say model is equal to this model. Okay, let's add data annotation, and you can just add this here and to clear all this. And let's add validation summary. Validation summary 2. You can add like this. And maybe you can style this as list style. So list style, you set this to none. And maybe font weight. You can set font weight as bold. So font weight bold. Yeah, that's all. There's an inline style that you are doing. Now in here, we are going to input as a text box, and then we can add bind. And now in this bind, let's set it to model dot name. The same thing applies to email, so let's use bind model dot email. Then there's subject bind to model dot subject. Then there's a message, so I bind so model dot message. Yeah, so that is it. Now this is going to return a response, so we need not to use this. So this message here, you can decide to display any output here. So initially, let's say at message, let's display it here. Now send message is a button and the submit. So let's see the output of that button. That's the send button here, right? Now we having a problem here because we did not specify the post method. So edit form, you have this validation summary. Edit form, we have the model sets. Cannot convert an expression value because some return types are blocked and not implicitly convertible return type. Okay, so let's check that and see what we can do. There's a bind. Input type, that's a bind name. Type is test. IDs here. So we have contact as model. Let's create our string. So message is equal to string dot empty. So we set our message to empty. Okay, so it is set now. Now rebuild and apply. So let's see. Currently we haven't called the method here, the API yet. Okay, but let's see. So the API, okay, so we need to check the API first, the contact page, and now here must be an HTTP post. Yeah. So let's run this again. Alright, still have issues here. So okay, now reloading. Now we have it post here, and it is requiring string, username string. So this is the default one. Let's go and try it out. So let's send it and see. We're going to have the output as message sent. So message sent. Alright, let's check database and see. So refresh this, and we have the message here, right? So we don't want this. Let's delete. Right, changes, refresh, nothing over here. Okay, so let's call this app is running. Now click on contact us. Now let's see send message, and we have this. The reason is because of the required field that we have here. So let's take off this required, so the model takes its work. Save this. Let's run this again. And let's see, we're going to have name required, email required, subject required. Let's see. So click on this. Okay, so that is okay. So sent contact form, name, message, necessary message is equal to nope. Let's see. So we did not on valid submit. We didn't specify that an edit form. So on valid submit, let's say handle submit. And now let's copy this and let's create. So async, and that is submit. Okay, so this is void async is returning handle this. So let's say we have task async task we have handle submit. So no, we have to use this message is equal to await http client dot post as async. Let's specify the API. So in this API, we will not specify this is, let's say this is codem, okay, / contact. Okay, so there is a route codem / contact, meaning contact codem, then we pass in the controller, that's the contact. There's going to be codem contact. So we can decide to take off this, making codem contact, right? So when we save this, even when you run this, let's see, you're gonna have an error here because you're not done with this. Yeah, still run it, run the API for us to see. So instead of the API, you're gonna have codem contact, right? And yeah, so we have codem contact. Let's see, let's move on. So in the contact.razor, instead of this, it's going to be codem / then contact, that is the controller name, and we pass in this model. That's all that we have to do. Let's see the output. While we have this error here, now it's saying that so cannot convert response to string. So let's have this var results. The results here is coming with a service response. So results dot message. So let's see the output of this. This post here, it is coming in with HTTP results. When you call this, we have to receive, that is a service response. So it's a task of action result, then it returns a service response. So when you call this here under the contact.razor, we store it over here. Post, we pass in this contact with them, that's an API / contact, then you pass in this model, the view model. So after returning the output to this result, we can now set, so let's see if we can have a message is equal to, can we have results dot content? Well, we have to read contents first, so let's have var response is equal to await results dot content dot read from JSON async is the last one here, passing this service response. Okay, so this service response control period, let's include the response folder. Then we can now say message is equal to response dot message. Maybe this could be now. Let's clear that. Alright, so stop it. Now we have this. Let's see what we can do. Let's run this application. So the button type here, it is submit. Type is submit, right? Now let's see. So if I click on this button, let's see what happens. Click on this submit. Now it's going to contact page, passing in the arguments here. So this is what I'm going to do. Now we have this bind the form group. This is an edit form. This is a model. On valid submit. We have the validation summary over here. We have name bind to this ID. Okay, so let's clear this IDs. Name, and actually we don't actually need the names too. Alright, so name, let's clear this. So for the purpose, we have to include this ID. The ID here, it is name for the label. So ID is for email. Alright, so let's include the IDs. They are very important for the label purpose. Then let's set the class to this btn info for the button. Let's save this and let's run this out and check it out and see. So let me close this. Okay, so send message. If I click on send message, let's see what happens. So it navigates to this page and I pass in nothing. So contact page. Well, let's see. So if I click on this, call this method post ask jsync, then read the response, and I'll display the response here. Okay, now let's see. Section, there is no more form. This edit form, you have the model, and then why submit. Okay, then you have data validations. Let's see if let's close this summary. Let me close this. Okay, so save this. Then we have to add this validation check beneath. So let's add this under each. So we have this the name. Let's paste this, and now here gonna be model. So this is model. So model dot name. To check for the validation, now let's paste this, and that's gonna be email. Let's see, there's gonna be subjects, and we have the last one, we have message. Okay, so now we have this set. Let's run this application, but at first I commented this framework, that's the NT framework for Blazor server, and I have to uncomment it. So it is now activated, and now let's run the application and see what's going to happen next. So once you have this, you can see we have validation errors in here. So as soon as I decide to send an empty page, it shouldn't supposed to work. Now let's see. So let's wait while it gets refreshed. I think it is still building, so let's wait. Alright, so it is now ready. Let's go to contact us page, and as you can see, let's click on send, and now we see we have these errors here. So this is what we can do. These are bold. We can decide to put them here in this. Go to contact razor, and instead of this font to it, you can just take off this. Let's start none. And now here too, that's the validation message, and as you can see from here, it displays under each of them. Alright, now let's fill this information, and let's try to apply. Now when you click on when validation, when on valid submit, handle submit, this method we are calling. So we call this method, and I restore the message here. So let's see what we can do. Let's run it. We run the application, and let's see. So this time around, you're going to process, you're going to pass in or fill the form as a person. So let's fill, and the name here, it is test, and the email is test tests.com. Now this is testing. Okay, so this is testing to see. Now click on send, and let's see what happens. So send has been clicked, and we see message sent. Alright, let's check the database. So if I refresh here, let's see. So you can see we have the comment here with the time and the message, the subject, the email, and etc. We have everything here. But one thing left here is we can decide to reset the form. Alright, when it is done. Now you can see as soon as we click on send, you can see the message is still here. So we can decide to reset the form when it is done. So when you're done, we can just create, let's make it as void reset form. Then we can say model.name is equal to empty. Then you can have model dot email to equal to empty, model dot subject also equal to empty, then model dot message also equal to empty. Okay, so this is void. Then let's copy this method, reset form, copy this. After message displayed, then call this. So let's run this again, and I'll try to send a message and see if the form is going to be cleared off. So we have first message. Let's delete that, write to changes, refresh, nothing here. So send, we have errors here. So admin, subject is testing, and the message is testing to see. Yeah, to see. Let's send and see. So send, now message sent. But we can see here is empty. So now message is what? Sent. Now enter the database. You can see we have the data here. Yeah, we have it. Okay, so now we have this. Let's go in for the questions and answers. So the questions and answers, we need to create a model for that, and let's do it quick. I don't want to waste time here. Now that's the models over here. So right click, let's add class. Now there's going to be a question. So question over here, and you create this. So you're going to have a question and answer. That's very simple. So there's going to be a public. Then you have, so there's an ID for primary key, and you can see we have this as string, and this is question. Question, and you can see we have the next one, string, and you can say explanation. Okay, so this is explanation. So we are done with this. Now this question, why it has underlined it. Okay, so you can have a question here. Have a question, right? So this is our bin. Yeah. So let's set this as questions. Okay, so let's say this a fact. So that is a frequently asked questions. So this is fact. This is fact. Frequently asked questions. Then we set this as question. Okay. So renaming the questions to fact.cs. Yes, rename. So we can now go ahead. Oh, this is fast, and let's go on. We don't have to waste time on this, eh? So we have to wait patiently for, since everything is frozen and it has to finish renaming before we can continue on. So let's wait. All that we need to do is to wait for this to finish. Still renaming, just small one. Let's let this quick. Now this is question. Okay, so we save that. Then let's go to the stop this. So appdb context. Let's make a copy of this. Then paste this, and here it's gonna be questions. So this is question, and that is questions. So control period. Alright, so here it is not question. Here it is fact. Yes, and that is questions. Okay, let's perform migration. Stop this. Let's build. After that, we have to perform migration, then update database for our table to be created. Oh, failed. So can I open this because it's being used? So let's close all this. Close them. Let's do it again. It is ready now. So let's perform migration. You go to Package Manager console, add migration. So let's clear. Add dash migration. Add question table. So after creating the migration file, then we're going to update. So let's build this again. In order to speed things fast, that is why we have to build it one more time. Okay, so update database. Oh, it's supposed to be update dash update that database, right? Let's see, it's still building. What is it building now? Okay. So update dash database building, and now let's refresh this. Go to the structure. Let's see if possibly when we refresh, we're gonna have the, because we have questions, so question and what explanation. Okay, let's clear this quick. Let's close this. Alright, so here too we have the same. We can create a controller for that. Let's create questions controller. Maybe you can decide to add a lot more here. Okay, but that is what we are doing here. So we go to the API controller. Where is it? So there is a controller here. So that's an API controller. Add new one, new controller, and it's going to be, oh, supposed to be an API, I think so. Alright, so it's supposed to be an API. Okay, so go for API empty. Alright, and here you can just write FAQ, the frequently asked questions controller. Then click on add. So let's create a constructor here. So generate a constructor, pass in appdb contest, control period, create an assigned field. So here it is. This is post. So this is HTTP post, and this is public async task. This is action results, and that is service response. We can create service response, add FAQ, then we have to create a model. So logic, then view model. Let's right click and add the class. So this is going to be FAQ view model. Now what we have under this FAQ.cs, let's grab this. Let's go to the model, and now let's paste this. This must be public. You can go ahead and clear all this. We don't need them. You save this, then we go to controller. So here we're going to use FAQ container dating. So we need what? FAQ view model, then model. So control, let's inject this. service response. Let's just respond. Then this is what we want to do. So if model is not equal to null, else return bad request, new service response. So success is equal to false and message is equal to error occurred. So return this. Then if it is not null, then we say var m equal new, this is fact, not fact controller, just fact. So control period, use model. Then we say question is equal to model dot question. Then explanation is equal to model dot explanation. Okay, we close this. Then we say appdb context dot this facts. This questions dot add m. Then await appdb context dot save changes async. Then return okay. So we say fact created. Okay, now let's get a method to get all container editing. So this is http get, and this is public async task. You are getting a list of fact. So you must first have an action result. Then we say get facts. So we say return okay. Await appdb context. Appdb context dot questions dot to list async. Yeah, that is it. So let's save this. Now let's go to let's go to the facts under the client section. So pages, like we see, we have facts here. So in here, let's inject http client. There's a http client. Okay, now you see there is the questions here. So down here we're gonna write code. Then we say let's create a list of fact. Then we say facts equal to new, control K and D. So when page loads, so let's use an override, and I will go in for after rendering. When you use initialized async, Is it going to work? So let's try that and see. So async task, then so we say fax is equal to, let's first create a variable. So result is equal to await HTTP client dot get from JSON async list of facts, then that is it. Let's create for fact dot, okay, so let's see. So codem dot fact, let's use that. Okay, so list, you have to add one more. So the model that we created is fact, not facts. It's supposed to be fact, right? That is the model that we created. Okay, let's say the controller as a fact, and now this is the eraser, fact is the eraser. Now there is facts here. When you check the model, it is also fact. Okay, so we go to the API here, and this is codem slash controller. So codem slash fact, that is the route. Continue editing. So with the eraser, now when page initializes, we call this method, and now let's see, can we assign, since it is a list, let's see if possible we can assign this to the results coming in. Yeah, so we have to loop through this. Editing, let's loop through that. So first of all, let's go in for the post. Okay, so this frequently asked questions. Now this is a question, first question. This first question. So let's cut this. Let's run this application. Now let's check the Swagger and see if we're gonna have the controller. So codem slash fact, that is the controller's name. Let's wait while it's being built. Alright, so post, then let's try this out. So that is a question. Let's go for the implementation. So that is the implementation here. We can paste this, then send. Let's see, created. Let's add one. Let's finish the next one. So that is a question. So this is a question, and this is a okay. Run this. So this is also done. Let's go to the next one. Let's copy this. That's a question. And that is the explanation. So let's paste this, execute, done. Let's go to the next one. That is a question. And let's go for implementation or the definition of it. So start from here. We paste this, run it, also done. Then there's the last one, is content administration. So for that one, there's no question in there. Okay, so when you check the database, refresh this, because you have the questions, almost 4 here, and that is it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Supposed to be 5, right? So there's 1 left, 1 gone. Is there any favorable fees? So let's see. Let's go for get all. So for is there any favorable fees? So if I read here, how many modes that students? Okay, 4 is okay. Now this is what we're gonna do. So we go through this. This is a UL. So this LI, let's try to clear all these LIs except this, the last one. So let's see. So we're gonna clear all this. Okay, let's clear this 3 and leave 1 here. So instead of this, okay, 1 is here already. We have 1 and this also 1. So let's clear this and let's set a constant. So let's say 200, that's the delay. So 200, and maybe you can decide to set this here. Okay, so this is what we can do. Now this here it is 100, so we can set. So let's move on. So let's say, so if fact is not equal to null and fact dot count is greater than 0, this is what you want to do for each. So let's have an int delay count initial equal to 100. So for each, this is, can we have for each, so this is fag, then we say item in. So that the reason why we did not use var here is we know the specific kind of data that we're going to accept. That's why we use this fact in this fact. So here is a list. Then we grab this, we cut this, and now we paste it here. So Control K and we format this well. Then we copy this. Then we set this here. So this is 100. So the delay, we pass this delay count. Delay count. Then at the end here, we say fact plus equal to 100. Okay. So let's see what's gonna happen. So build and run. But we are not done. So this item that we have here, we have to pass in the item dot question in between where we have the question. So we have this question here, that is icon, that's the angle tag over here, and we have right. Okay, so let's see if that is we're supposed to have item dot question. Then instead of all this, you can now squeeze this up. Then you pass in item dot explanation. So it's very simple. Control K and D. Now let's save this. Now let's build and run this application and see the output here. Okay, so you can see we have the list here, but you can see all the questions have been displayed. So you click at it once, then all opens. Let's see. Okay, now this is what we have to do. Let's set this. Now here, only the first one is open. So let's see. So here we can you can decide to collapse all. Let's try that and see. Okay, so click on this opens. As soon as you click on all of them opens. So let's see, now we have this collapsed, so all of them, they are collapsed. Now this ID, that is 1, so it is setting all the target to ID 1. So maybe this is what we can do. Okay, so you can decide to set this. So this list, this is 1. So you can decide to have int. So this is div count is equal to 1. So this div count, you can copy this div count. Then where we have this one, you can replace it with a variable as div count. Then here too, replace it here as div count, that is 1. Let's use this at. Now here we set our div count plus plus. I think it is going to solve the problem. So let's see. So no, where is the issue? Invalid expression term, comma. Oh, okay. So we don't have to bring this. Okay, let's save it again. Build and run. Now let's wait and see. If I click on this, So I click on this and you can see this opens. Click on that and this opens. Click this and this opens, and click that and this opens. So what we can do, you can actually open the first one. Okay, so you can actually open the first one if you want to, but you can decide to maintain this. So you can see that with just simple code, we've been able to display all the data that we have in the database. Okay, so now we are done with the fact. Now for the creation, as for creating, I've created a controller and the method already, so create a form and now do it. Okay, so let's see. I think this, okay, so we have done the contact and fact. For this apply now, name, email, I think you can do that, right? Yes, you can do it. All right, I think that is this. You know, we've been able to design it and now we have it from the database. Now if you want to write something about the about, you can also do that. If you want to write something from programs to the program that you guys offer, you can actually do that. Okay, so yeah, administration too, you can do it. So I've shown you the way to do the fact and also do the contact us. Yeah, it works. That is it. So you can see in this video we're able to capture not actually everything but the basics of this application. That's a web app, for a simple web app for a school, simple school as well. But this could be a great project for you. Yeah, so that is it for this video. Thank you. I'll leave the source code to under the description, so you can just go in there, grab the source code and also implement it in yours. Actually the template also going to be available. You can just grab that and you can also use it in your own project. Yeah, actually I got it free, so it is free also. When you go to bootstrapmade.com, you're going to find a lot, numerous of templates available. That is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. For this, join our newsletter. I hope you can do it, right? Create a model, just a model with an email, and as soon as the person clicks on submit, it's going to be an edit form, but it's gone. So that is it. Yeah, thank you, and I'm going to catch you up in some other time. Yeah, that's the next video. You can actually subscribe, or you can actually give a thumbs like, so that people can also can spread to them, for them to also to watch. Yeah, so thank you very much, and I am Frederick. I hope you know my name already. See you, catch you next time.